As you can see, Billy Meier has been popular in the UFO community for over 40 years. And in tonight's video, we're going to look at some of this footage to see if he falsified this information or see if he actually saw some of these ships. And in tonight's video, I'm going to at least show and prove to you that I believe one or two of his photos is actually legit. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So this isn't going to be a beat you down Billy Meier video, just let you guys know that offhand. I do want to let you guys know too that I do believe Billy Meier saw something. I do believe he has one or two good photos of this, but I don't believe all the information he's put out here. Now there's been facts proving that some of the stuff he's put out here has been falsified, some allegedly books that he's put out and photos and stuff, and it's sometimes kind of hard to believe some of these videos that you see here. But tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to represent or present to you guys some evidence that they actually went in and investigated this back in the 70s and 80s to prove that at least one or two of these photos that he took of these spacecraft or UFOs is actually true. It's going to be pretty interesting because when I looked at this, it made sense that, and I've always said that he's seen something, but some of this stuff right here, I find it hard to believe. And like I said, that's just me. Other people believe all this stuff 100%, but I personally don't. I mean, there's video footage of certain things. There's things like this where he said there was a drone coming from that craft. There's this photo here is going to be one of the ones they're going to analyze tonight. And I do believe that this is one of the legit photos. Whether this was man-made or not, this is what it looks like. And this is going to be one of the things that you're going to see they're going to analyze tonight. Now, he has other information about landing sites. Here they are here in the 70s looking at landing sites of particular craft and stuff. I'll do a whole nother video on that because if I try to tackle everything with Billy Meier's, it's going to be about a 2-hour long video. So if you guys want to see that, just put something down in the comments and then I'll start investigating and doing more in-depth review of this. But tonight, like I said, we're going to look at a couple of these photos that he took of these craft, and then also look at the areas, and you're going to see and hear people that analyze this and get their actual feedback from it. And I think it's very important at least to get this out. I still haven't tackled Billy Meier fully on my channel, but this is probably going to be a part 1, and then there'll be a part 2 or 3 looking at some of his video footage and stuff like what you're seeing here. There's reports of him saying that the reason why these craft were there in the video and then it flashed away is they went to another dimension and stuff, and we'll investigate that in another video. But tonight's video is going to mainly focus on this particular craft that he shot a photo of, and I'm going to show you evidence of something that was filmed just like it. Now, this that I'm going to show to you in just a second is going to be taken from South Africa. I think this was believed to be taken in 2008. So let me go ahead and play this one video clip of this craft that someone else took. Billy Meier didn't take, and I'll be back in just a minute. Now, this craft, although I zoomed in on it, it does look 100% like some of the photos that Billy Meier had and some of the video clips up close. You guys can see that there. And of course, the craft was there and then it shot off to the far right. And I'll slow it down so you can see it. So this is why I do believe that Billy Meier saw something. He got a photo of one or two things, and then some of the other stuff he just kind of fabricated. But like I said, I can't stress that's my opinion, but you guys can go in the comments to say what you want. There's been other information and evidence presented as well, but like I said, I'm going to focus on just some of these photos that he took of these 2 or 3 craft. And I want you guys to hear when people went in, they investigated this, what information and evidence they presented, especially with the technology they have. So here's going to be one of the clips here in one of the investigations.
We sent this photograph over to Neil Davies. Just got his report back.
Neil Davis.
Physicist, aerospace industry subcontractor.
Right, okay, got it.
Examined the photograph with microdensitometer. Also, these you're seeing here are the black and white color separations that he did, and let's see what the results were here. Examination of these plots did not reveal any details which would cast doubt upon the authenticity of the photograph. And there's more. Color copy, negative color separation. Nothing was found to indicate a hoax. And his conclusion is even more interesting. Let's see, black specks. Nothing was found in the examination of this print which could cause me to believe that the object in the photo is anything other than a large object photographed at distance from the camera.
And the photo that they're talking about is a photo of this craft here. And Bob Lazar even said himself that the photos of particular craft that Billy Meier took looked like the sport model that he actually worked on. And I know this is a little bit blurry and distorted, but this is one of the crafts that Billy Meier said that he saw up close and took a photo of. Now, this next one's going to be the one that intrigued me the most. It looks like it's kind of bolted together and stuff, and we've heard that before, but this is going to be a computer analyst that looked at this. Now, remember, this was done over 40 years ago, so the technology is going to be a little bit outdated, but you'll see just what they're talking about.
To computer analyst Jim Dilatosa.
This is the new picture that we digitized last week using the microdensitometer. We transferred it over to floppy disk here. Let's look at the first map in low-pass filtering.
Why these particular colors on the screen? What are we seeing?
I mapped it in such a way that the real colors are not what we're seeing, but one shade of a color that's really similar to another one, like two shades of red, are in high contrast so that we can really see the difference.
I see. Have you found any anomalies yet of any kind? Anything
I find strange things, but nothing that would tell me that someone's tampered with the pictures.
I see. Nothing indicating a hoax method or indicating superimposition or anything like that?
Nothing that I can find.
Have you been working on the grain at all yet?
Yeah, I have.
Well, what are we seeing here?
What we're seeing here is that the film grain holds up the way that it should. In the pixel distortion test, it appears to me and to the computer that this object was photographed in the same original piece of film at the same time that the background was photographed. In other words, no overlay. I would say these pictures are genuine.
All right, and remember, guys, this was done over 40 years ago. You're going to see him go in and break down and analyze this craft in different angles and infrareds and things like that. Remember, like I said, this was done over 40 years ago, so it was very old tech. If someone can take this in, I'm not talking about somebody doing this stuff with their PC. We need experts to come in like they did here and reevaluate some of the photos and videos that he has, so that way this stuff can be presented. It should be even be presented at some of these congressional hearings they're having for UFOs and stuff. But he's going to go in, he's going to analyze and explain some more of the facts that he found with this. So it's going to be very controversial, but this is the reason why I said I do believe Billy Meier took 2 or 3 good photos of some UFOs, and then the other stuff was falsified. So let me go ahead, once again, let me quit my yapping. I know you guys like that. And let him go ahead and play and explain what he broke down and what he found here.
Let's go back and look at this picture again and get some information about the edges. I've discovered this interesting program for measuring the edges of things and comparing it to all the other edges in the pictures.
Based on the relationship of those edges?
The width of the edges and the properties in the edges. So we're stretching the data in the edges so we can count how many pixels wide it is. And it's very interesting what happens when you stretch them out, because it becomes very clear. Pixels, these little squares, like building blocks, and pretty easy to count. 6, 7. So this one ranges from 5 to 7 pixels wide, this edge. So we have our range here is from 6 to to 8. Now, what this tells us in looking at all of the edges on the object is, first of all, that it's not a flat piece of plywood hung in the air, or it's not a paste-up that was done. It actually has shape to it. And in this case, a very wide range, which has to do with focus. Some of the object is more in focus than other parts of the object, which tells me right off at that point that we're dealing with something of size to it.
Now, what you're going to be seeing coming up in just a minute or so is that Lieutenant Colonel Wendell Stevens did go in and they did try to make a model of this and try to replicate to see if they could actually replicate what we're seeing here in these photos. And it's going to be really interesting. You're going to see a little bit more breakdown of kind of that first UFO, and then you'll see a breakdown of this, and pay close attention to what they talk about with the lighting of the model that they put up compared to the Billy Meier photos.
The edges of known objects, such as the trees and the hills, are translated into pixels. Since these measurements are known, the number of pixels in the edge of the unknown object, the craft, gives its distance. The beam ship is determined to be just where Meier said it was. Simple triangulation then gives its size, 7 meters, or about 21 feet in diameter.
Billy, how many sightings?
By now, the investigators have made over a dozen trips to Switzerland. The case takes up more and more of their time and taxes their ingenuity. Each test leads to another, and every result is double and triple checked. To test the possibility that the Meier photographs were made using small-scale models suspended by transparent monofilament, the investigators bring with them a detailed model of a beam ship they identify as Variation 2. While Welsh flies the model on a hilltop above the farmhouse, Meier and Stevens snap several rolls of film. The camera Meier is using is the same one with which he took all the other pictures. The results are impressive. To the naked eye, some of the photos appear genuine.
Those photographs, they're interesting. They look pretty good. Pretty good.
I saw one difference in them, and that was that those models look white. They don't reflect that silver gleam like the pictures that Billy had.
You want to look at the focus in them,
Hey,
Dave.
hi guys. What's
Hey, Tom.
what are you talking about?
The pictures.
Oh, yeah. Some of them looked pretty bad, but some of them look pretty good. I think we ought to test them.
Pictures of the model are not all that good. In the pictures where he focused on the model, the horizon is out of focus. Where he focused on the horizon, the model is out.
Well, not all of them, Steve. I mean, some of these photographs come out very, very good. We should put them in there for comparative testing under computer analysis. We've got to have that comparison. Frankly, this could be a scam.
So when we look at models, there's a variety of things that are different than when we look at photographs of these objects. Load in some colors first. That object right there is solid. It's one solid color. There's very little contour in it compared to other objects that are in the photograph, like the trees and things that we have color mapped in the background to be high contrast colors. And I've blown them up so we can look at the edges as pixels. So we're going from the brown object to the horizon. It takes 2 pixels. I mean, you can count it with your finger. You don't even need a computer.
Why is that important? What does it mean?
There's no contour to the object. Remember when we looked at the other photographs that were taken by Meier, the width of the edges ranged from 4 to 9. Point of the story. This is a small model. It's easy to tell small models.
All right, guys, so there's the evidence, and that's why I believe it, especially based off a lot of these old photos that I'm showing you here. Like I said, he saw something, got 1 or 2 legit photos, and that's why I believe it. But if you guys want to see more of a breakdown about the landing sites and then some of the film footage, let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely go ahead and spend the time to give you guys like a 40-50 minute video on this. I mean, especially this right here. I believe this is a genuine UFO. It looks like the Billy Meier craft. I mean, you can see the sun reflecting off of it and everything. Some of the other stuff is kind of hard to tell, but there's so much evidence out there that proves that some of the stuff he took was true. But let me know in the comments. I didn't create this video to convince you of my personal thoughts or beliefs. You guys know that I want to hear some feedback from you guys, and there may be some new evidence out there. So if there's something new, let me know down below in the comments. And as always, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, stay tuned for the next video. I always appreciate you guys watching, and I also appreciate all my patrons that help and support me on this channel.